Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
All right, let's do this thing, winners and whiners style. I was doing a lot of whining. Actually, I was doing a lot of drinking and a little bit of whining. Not too much dining on Fremont over the weekend.
Whining, not too much dining.
No. Me and Pharrell were talking about, he's like, because I was at the D. I was staying at the D, and they have one of the best steakhouse at the D. So Pharrell's like, did you go make it out to the steakhouse, Morency? I'm like, what do you think? Yeah, I made it to the steakhouse, Scott Lake. You know what I mean?
It is nice, though. It is a really good spot. Great bar there, too. That long bar.
I remember having a piece of pizza at the football game, the LSU game. Like I said, he was like, where did you eat? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I got a taco 1 to 3 in the morning. I don't know. Like, I ate at the football game. I remember a bit. But all kidding aside, so we were at that football game, and let's bring in a man that was loud and proud during the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's win on Saturday night. Big-time win. Loud Esmond steps up. And then, Loud, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Great to be here, Gabe, Cam. Thank you very much. Doing well. Just got home from having a little Mexican food with the family here in the Pacific Northwest and ready to go.
Well, let's rock and roll. We'll get to the NFL, but as long as we're on college right now. So, big win for Notre Dame. The big game this week is Texas and Michigan. Massive line movement, Loud, in this football game. I personally think it's a gross overreaction. Michigan's rolling out a new offense. This is going to be a team that has their defense carry them. And, I hear people say, well, you know what, it was a one-score game early in the fourth quarter. Yeah, okay, they ended up winning by 20 points, and they're still being criticized for it. And Fresno are a good team, as you guys know. Like, Fresno aren't Akron. Like, Fresno, it's not a cupcake team to play in week one. I think Michigan held back a little bit as well and didn't want to expose what they were going to do offensively. But at the same point in time, I can also live with the critics of Davis Ward and people wondering if the passing attack is going to be up to grade here against the Longhorns. How do you feel about this line movement, Loud, now that it's up to 7.5 in some spots?
Well, I think Texas obviously got a great win, and Michigan, I had Fresno State covering that game. Of course, we all have our wins and our losses, don't we? And, the classic thing to the opening week of college football is you have all these power schools that play somebody like Sister Mary's School of Typists, and they beat them by 70 points. And then the second week, all the lines get inflated for the teams that, had the beatdowns on somebody. And so, yeah, I think this is an overreaction. It's a little bit more than it should be. Michigan is going to be a tough place to play. It always is. It's a proud program. And I've got lots of teams that I think the lines are inflated because they had a huge first week. And then I've got a couple of teams that I really like because I just think, yeah, they beat a really good team by a lot. So in this one, yeah, I'm with you, Gabe, on this.
So looking at some of the numbers for this week, Georgia Tech are 3-point road favorites at Syracuse. Cam's Kansas State Wildcats minus 10-point favorites at Tulane. 7.5 now for Michigan. Baylor and Utah, interesting game here, guys. Utah are laying 14 at home. Cal goes to Auburn. Auburn are laying 13 right now. Iowa State renew the rivalry. The Hawkeyes, that passing offense didn't get going. They ended up getting to 40 anyways when it was all said and done. And, now they get Iowa State. I would still lean with the Hawkeyes here on their home field. They're 2.5-point favorites. Michigan State, I thought, played better than the score indicated, but it is what it is. And now they're getting 8.5 on the road against Maryland. What are some of the games this week to catch your eye, Loud? What interests you the most this week on the college grid?
It's interesting that you mentioned Georgia Tech. I love what I'm seeing from that team. It worries me a little bit that I might be overvaluing the win against Florida State because of how bad they looked on Monday night in another bad loss. So maybe that takes some value out of that win. But then Georgia Tech came home and they covered against a crosstown rival. They kept their focus. And so, yeah, I really like what I'm seeing out of Georgia Tech. I don't think 3 points is a lot against Syracuse. So I'm on the Yellow Jackets minus the 3 in that one.
Cam, game you want to ask Loud about?
Yeah, I think there's some really, Gabe, I'm with you. This line opened up with Michigan at 3.5, and you can get a 7.5. I'm going to be hitting Michigan at 7.5. I think that's absolutely disrespectful to the Wolverines. Loud, what about this game? Kind of a game that I think is going to be a really, really good one. The Arkansas-Oklahoma State game. Oklahoma State, they took care of business. They're laying 7.5 against Arkansas. Should be interesting. Arkansas looked great in their first game, but beating a cream puff. What do you think about the dog in this one, or do you like the favorite in the Pokes?
It's so tough, again, when the first team that a good program faces is a cream puff. It's so hard to put any value in it and really know. And I'm a somewhat conservative bettor, and I actually consider games that you don't bet because you're not really sure one way or another. I count those as wins when I don't make a bet and I don't lose. So in a situation like that, right now, where I just don't have enough information in my mind, I'm just going to stay away from this one. Sorry, guys. I don't have a pick here.
No, it's fine. We're just sort of, speaking out loud, looking at these games. We'll hit the NFL on the other side. But I don't know how much you guys caught of this one, but there's a lot of hype, man, about UNLV in the Las Vegas area. And listen, I remember going to UNLV games and living there, and their win totals were like 1.5. Like literally 2.5, 1.5. And they just went on the road, guys, into Houston and murdered them.
Yeah.
Like they just played pitch and catch, pushed them around. Like Odom is doing an awesome job with this Rebel football team. And I know this is laughable nationally to people tuning in. They're talking playoffs in Vegas.
Crazy.
They're like, there's no reason why we can't win the Mountain West and get into the playoffs. And hey, the way they played in week one, let's pay attention to this football team. But where I'm going with this is Houston have a lot of problems, guys. And we saw last week Oklahoma dial it up against Temple. Oklahoma, no, they need to get W's. Life is going to get a lot harder for them once they get into that tough SEC schedule. Houston are that bad, guys. I don't know how you feel about this, Loud. Normally, I'm not in love with laying 29 here. And we just talked about overreaction, underreaction from week one. But this Houston team, if you get bullied and pushed around by UNLV on your home field, you're not going to do very well in Norman, bro.
No, they're in big trouble going into Norman, and I like the home team here by a bunch.
You know what? Sometimes you just got to keep it simple and not overthink it. This is one of those instances.
Well, I'll tell you one where I have been doing a lot of thinking is Bowling Green plus 34.5 at Penn State. Everybody's loving on Penn State. Everybody is just loving on Penn State. Oh, look what they did. Oh, they got big plays. Oh, we're so excited. What does Penn State do every year? They end up sort of disappointing at the end of the day. So what am I saying here? Did you watch any of that Bowling Green game? Because they looked great.
Bowling Green
Very
looked great.
explosive
And
offense.
Thing, Gabe, I watched that game when we were doing in-game live. Trust me, West Virginia's coach at Brown, he killed himself in that game. The play calling, the stupidness, like they were brutal. Like they are actually moving the ball, and they just absolutely the play calling was awful by the Mountaineers. Don't look at Penn State and say, oh, that was like a dominating great win. West Virginia just killed themselves, Morency. Trust me, it was not that easy.
I thought it kind of was, Cam. It's been 2 years in a row. They murdered them. Let's just call it out for what it is. West Virginia can't play with Penn State. They can't.
Bowling Green is catching 34.5 points, and they can score. That Bowling Green offense, they've got a lot of talent. They can pitch it all over the yard. They've just got to score like 17 or 20 points, and they've got the cover in this game. I'm all over Bowling Green here.
I like where you're going with that. And hey, we know they've got a good return game. The kid started off the season, so after Penn State scores, we got to punch his chance of getting a touchdown. After Penn State scores, I agree. I think it's too many points. And not a letdown, but coming off that backyard brawl, it kind of is a little bit against the MAC team.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Great time talking football. Great to have football back. Loud Esmond kicking it with us right now for the Pacific Northwest. Cam Stewart in the house. Our boy Rick Saratella will step up and in a couple of minutes. More football talk with the founder of the NFL Draft Bible. And, of course, now a scout with the Edmonton Elks who have played themselves back into a playoff contention. But got to get to some NFL football here. But a couple of more college games. And, Loud, you brought it up. It's tough to gauge sometimes when a team absolutely murders a cupcake, a cream puff. But there's a lot of hype about the Mississippi football team this year, and Jackson Dart as well. potentially winning the Heisman, NFL hype around Jackson Dart. Is this the year that Lane Kiffin's going to put it all together? And it's funny because, as you said, everybody's raving. Oh, they look great. They played Furman. All right, so it's like, okay. So, they murdered Furman. They didn't take the pedal off the metal. Good for them. Now this week, they're laying 41.5 right now. I see the Middle Tennessee State, the Blue Raiders, coming in here. The over-under 63.5. What do you think about this game, lad?
Well, Middle Tennessee State last year played Alabama, and they lost 56-7. That's a 49-point spread. That is the last time that they played somebody with the talent, the level that Ole Miss has. And Ole Miss is even better than that Bama team was last year. The thing that I loved about Ole Miss in this game is not only did they have the usual Lane Kiffin throw the ball all over the place and be super aggressive and pedal and high-speed offense and all that, they have a power running game that I don't know if anybody's going to ever – I forget that running back's name, but that dude, he's a mountain, and he moves. So he's going to be tough to stop, and then they've got a really nice-looking defense. I'm not sure Middle Tennessee State will score more than 7, and I think you're looking at 60, 65 points out of Ole Miss. I would – this is the one case this week where – I'm not worried about the line being inflated. I think you can't inflate this line very much enough.
Let's get to the Eastern Michigan-Washington game. Interesting matchup. We've got a MAC team coming out to the Pacific Northwest to take on the new-look Huskies. Huskies are laying 24.5 points in this football game. Total's 47.5, Loud.
This is a classic square better problem, in my opinion. Everybody's still thinking about the Washington Huskies like the Washington Huskies with Michael Penix and Kalen DeBoer as coach. And the square bettors, they're not paying attention to the details. This is not that team. This team got gutted of talent at the end of the season. The cupboard was bare, and they had to fill in a lot of holes with transfers. And most people didn't see that game nationally because it's on the West Coast. It's later, and there was a lot of other things going on. And so I think this line is completely out of line. I am not ready to lay nearly 30 points on a Washington Huskies team that just beat a complete cupcake and frankly didn't look very good doing it.
Interesting. Eastern Michigan, really, Cam. You're going to trust the Pirates going on the road here, getting 24.5, huh?
Well, you weren't dining in Vegas. I stayed up and watched the Weber State-Washington game, and I'm telling you, Washington, Loud's right. Like, they won that game, the 35-3 score. Don't let it fool you. Like, they were not that good in that game. Like, they didn't score till whatever. Like, Weber State went for it a few times. Like, that score was not indicative, and I think Eastern Michigan can cover that number. I wasn't impressed at all. I agree with him.
Well, Washington did get raided. Like I said, they lost a ton of players to the National Football League. I like Polk a lot, actually. He was on the Patriots. People talking about Roma Dunze so much, but Jalen Polk is really, really good. Anyways, threw that out there for fantasy players. But
and by the way, Michael Penix Jr. will be the starting quarterback in Atlanta sooner than you think.
I like those.
I can't fully disagree. I mean, if Cousins, you know what I mean? There's a reason they took him. It's funny, Lau, because everyone laughed at him at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like everyone else was playing checkers and they were playing chess. They're like, no, we've got our quarterback set up. And then they turn around and they get Judon. And then they turn around and they bring Simons in because people are going, you should have drafted. Judon's better and help him right now more than any player would have, that it would have gotten with that 8th pick at the time. So I think you're actually not crazy for that. So listen, 2 quick ones I'll throw at you here. We got to get some NFL, but big game. And anytime the public loves these Colorado games, Loud. So you got Colorado and Nebraska. Colorado lit them up last year, except this time they're going to Lincoln. Matt Rule's got Raiola under center right now. I mean, this is one of the oldest rivalries in college football. It got broken up by, the conference realignment and all that over the years. But they started playing this game in 1898, guys. And the Huskers are 7-point favorites against the Buffs. The total's 59. And another one, and I love to bet overs. And I know it's going to take a little while to start cranking things up, but Boise cranked it up and their defense got lit up last week, Loud. And You're getting 19 points with Boise State against the Ducks. The total 61 in that football game. Interesting game with Boise going into to Eugene here.
Yeah, if I was going to take anything in this game, I'm on the over. I think Boise State's defense is not very good, and their offense is really good. And so that is a combination to me where I don't necessarily love the point spread either way, but the over looks attractive to me.
All right, so we're coming up against a break. We'll hit the NFL on the other side. We just got a quick segment on the other side, and Rick Saratella is going to join us at the bottom of the hour here. And for those of you unaware, but we spelled out the new program schedule. We're going for 120 minutes now, but we're going to be on during all the football games with a special sort of in-game live for every primetime football game this year for the National Football League. So 2 hours of rage, but we're actually going to be on more when you add it all up. So, you know what, whatever the name of the show is, whatever, we're going to be on bringing it for all these primetime NFL games for you starting on Thursday night. And I look forward to Loud's thoughts on the first two games, Thursday and Friday. Great to have a Friday nighter in week one, very unique. This year, the Philadelphia Eagles are currently laying 2.5 points to the Packers. Total is 48.5. And I think a big key of this football game, guys, we saw how the Green Bay Packers ended the year last year with Jordan Love just absolutely killing it, looking like an MVP candidate. And one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles over the past couple of years, their secondary has been soft, and you can tear them apart. They addressed it in the draft, but was it enough?
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. The Twisted Tuesday continues. Sirius XM channel 159. Shout out to all of our affiliates, apps, and everybody else watching on whatever platform you are on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. 2-2 Dodgers, Angels, bottom of the seventh inning. We got a close one going on. It's funny. People all Walker Buehler and Detmers, and even I thought there'd be more runs. I didn't bet the over, but impressive for Buehler. One of his better starts, actually. Okay, we've only got a couple of more minutes with Loud Esmond here. Winners and whiners. So there were a lot of holdouts in the National Football League. I wouldn't say a lot of holdouts, but impactful players held out.
A lot of key holdouts. A lot of
from
really
Trent
important
Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk, right? Like Trent Williams, obviously the number one, although you just get the feeling he can walk in off the street. And I remember like Orlando Brown always used to hold out. He just said after, I don't like camp, man. He goes, I always sign like a week before. I just don't like training camp. And I almost get the feeling Williams is like, I just don't feel like doing training camp. But I'll see you on Monday night, y'all. But how do you think it affects some of these teams? You think it's going to affect some of them?
Well, look, CeeDee Lamb in Dallas, he had the most snaps, most targets, most yards, most catches, and most touchdowns on the team. And he is not going to be in football shape. It's going to take him a couple of weeks. If I was Dallas, I would very much limit him in the first game, and that means you're missing a huge amount of production. Jamar Chase, Cincinnati, this will sound familiar. Last year, most snaps, most targets, most yards, most catches, most touchdowns. So again, another team that could be missing a huge amount of production. But, they're playing the Patriots, so will it matter? At the Cowboys, at the Browns, I think it will matter. And then Brandon Ayuk, except for Kittle, most snaps, most targets, most yards, most catches, most touchdowns on the team. And, of course, Trent Williams, like you said, he maybe will just walk in off the street. But Ayuk, those quick twitch players, those skill guys, you're just waiting to pop a hamstring. If you jump right into, I'm going to play a full game and go, 70 snaps or something, that is something that could be a problem. So I am staying away from Jets 49ers. I'm staying away from Patriots Bengals, and I'm staying away from Cowboys Browns because I'm just not sure who's going to play and how it's going to look. I really like the Texans minus 2.5 at the Colts. I think the Texans are loaded and will be even better. And the Falcons 2.5 with the Steelers coming to town. Those are two of my best bets. Russell Wilson, I cannot bet on Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. So those are two of my best bets. And finally, Chargers -3 at the Raiders. The Raiders look horrible, and they have the worst quarterback situation in the league. So there's three for you. Texans -2.5, Falcons -2.5, Chargers -3 at Raiders.
I'll tell you what, the Houston Texans are a trendy team this year. But with that being stated, some people think, the Colts this, the Colts that. Colts have lost 10 straight season openers. They never win these games. And if you saw the Colts, let's be real. Anthony Richardson has a lot of skill. He's super raw still. He only played in 4 games last year. So it's almost like he's still a rookie, to be honest. I'm buying in that Houston are the play in this football game as well. I don't know if it's a survivor play for us, but in a circus survivor. But I get where you're going with that. All right, before we get you out of here, we only got about a minute left. Any thoughts on the season opener, Kansas City and the Baltimore Ravens, or the Packers-Eagles game on Friday night?
I hate these foreign games. Anytime you're going somewhere where you're told you can't leave your hotel or get off your bus and don't answer your phone, I'm sorry. It's like, being in downtown San Francisco these days, apparently. The play that I like on Thursday night is the first half total over-under is 22.5. I love the over in the first half in that. That's 17-10, and you're 4.5 points over that. 13-10, and you're a half point over that. With Kansas City in the game, I'm sorry, they might go over almost by themselves in the first half. I know everybody thinks, it's the first week, it's going to start slow. Maybe I might be on the under total 46.5, but 22.5 points in the first game that features the Kansas City Chiefs and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and that revamped Ravens offense, I'm on the over in the first half.
Loud Esmond, great to have you on SportsRage. Find them at Winners and Winers. And Loud Esmond Bets on Twitter X. We'll definitely do it again, Loud. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's down with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the Rick Saratellas, and everybody else in between. Football is back, baby. Let's do this thing. Rick's Edmonton Elks keep winning football games and now control their own destiny in the CFL. Countdown to kickoff in the National Football League is on. We always look forward to Rick's NFL bold predictions because, Rick likes to think outside the box, baby. And, of course, college football's in full swing. Rick, always a pleasure, man. Great to see you.
So happy to be here, Gabe. Just calling it like I see it, baby. Buckle up.
Well, speaking of calling it like I see it, I was at the LSU and USC game on Sunday night in Las Vegas. I got to tell you, there were a lot of future NFL players on the field, Rick, on Sunday night at Allegiant Stadium. And Miller Moss, for a player that's only started 2 football games in his career, showed an incredible amount of poise in a pocket. Just absolutely lit it up through bullets all day long, Rick, against the LSU Tigers. Very, very impressive performance for Miller Moss. He goes 27 to 36, 378 yards. I like the poise that he showed. And I tell you what, the Lincoln Riley's going to have a good offense. But, man, what a loaded wide receiver core. And, man, that tight end, Lake McCree, looked great, too. 6'5", 250 pounds. Lot of talent, Rick, on that USC offensive side of the football, bro.
No doubt about it. And, listen, Lincoln Riley, not only does he know how to recruit talent, he knows how to recruit talent that fits into his system. And I think that's exactly what you saw, just playmakers all over the field. Moss, we got a little glimpse of what he could do last year. And now he's a redshirt sophomore. He bided his time patiently. He had a year in the system. So I expect him to bust out in a big, big way. We saw that against LSU. And I'll tell you what, for all the fuss made about the USC offense, there was a lot of expectations in terms of the defense improving, the new coordinator there. I thought they gave LSU some fits. They got Brian Kelly awfully frustrated after that ball game, something we don't often see. And so I'll tell you what, both quarterbacks played very well. I expect to see both of these teams in the college football playoff hunt. And what a way to start the season. I mean, there was probably 24 guys on the field that we'll see eventually playing on Sundays.
Yeah, the wide receiver Lacey for LSU is just the next in line, another explosive player. But you're bang on, Rick, and that's something that we were talking about in the stands. The dominance of USC's defensive line. They were collapsing the pocket. LSU could not get a ground game going. And we all know about Listen, USC put a lot of money into this defense as far as coaching staffs, NIL transfer portals. And USC's secondary's always been pretty good. They've always had pretty good ball hawks back there playing in the Pac-12. But the D-line's been an issue, getting pressure on the quarterback, linebacker play, both which were very good against an SEC team in the LSU Tigers. So speaking of the SEC, Cam Ward threw some shade at the SEC after picking apart the Florida Gators in the swamp. He said, I played at USC, it was louder. He said, I played at Oregon, it was much louder. He said, the Washington Huskies, the loudest stadium I've ever been in. And then he even dropped. He said, forget the SEC. He said, Pac-12 is where the real football is played. He went in there with some swagger. And listen, I've got my issues with Mario Cristobal, but I think Cam Ward and that offensive line might be so good they can win despite Mario Cristobal. Cam Ward right now, Rick, the 5th choice to be the number 1 pick of the draft. Very impressive debut for Cam Ward with the Canes.
Hey, listen, Cam Ward came out guns blazing. Miami's the favorite for the ACC. All I would say, young man, is act like you've been there before, okay? All right? Let's act like we've been there before because it's easy to kick a man when he's down.
Don't get too cocky after week 1? That's what you're saying?
I'm just saying it's easy to kick a man or a team when they're down, okay? And you went in there, you handled your business, but the opponent is down and out. Like, hey, there's a long season to go. I like Cam Ward. I think he has a chance to. He's in the Heisman running in my early Heisman rankings here after week 1. But here's a guy who's got to prove to stay healthy and durable, and then I can start putting more credence into the words and take them a little bit more seriously.
All right, here are the updated Heisman Trophy odds after, I guess, week 1. Week 0, a couple of weeks to play, but technically week 1. Dylan Gabriel plus 700. Cameron Ward, the 2nd choice at 9-1. Carson Beck falls to 9-1. Jackson Dart, Mississippi Rebel quarterback, 10-1, Rick. And I believe that's the guy that you've got your eye on as far as the Heisman Trophy is concerned.
That's right. Ole Miss came out in a big way against Furman, take it
so.
for what you want. Yeah, right. They took care of business. That Tennessee quarterback, I think, is a dark horse candidate too, based on what I saw early on. Yeah, very exciting stuff. You talk about NFL quarterback play. I think the college football teams now, you're starting to see the quarterback play have a lot of influence on the success of teams. And Florida State, there was a lot of big expectations, but DJU just isn't getting the job done. Their season is over. We talked about Florida, the swamp. They don't really have a big-time quarterback. And look at what Miami did. They shredded the Gators. They drained the swamp. I mean, it's over. But Cam Ward should take care of business. The Hurricanes have a schedule now. They've got a path to a potential undefeated season. So if they take care of business and get the job done, they'll be there at the end of the college football playoffs. But Mario Cristobal has to show he can hunker down, buckle up, and win the big game.
Colorado and North Dakota State, we talked about it last week. It was the most bet game of the week, even with all the other heavyweights playing. And Travis Hunter put on a show against North Dakota State. Although North Dakota State did get the cover when it was all said and done with the 5-point game. I'm surprised, Rick. It was funny hearing the national media that don't really bet basically say, give the Heisman Trophy to Travis Hunter after one game. I think people overreact. A lot of players have big-time games in the first game of the year. And all due respect to North Dakota State, they are an FBS team as well. But I'm still surprised, nevertheless, Rick, to still see we can get 25-1 for Travis Hunter right now to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah, really, there's so many people. Like Miller Moss is ahead of him at 20-1. Will Howard is 16-1. Nico Iamaleava, you talked about. Tennessee, 14-1. My boy Milroe, 12-1 still. That's some value with Hunter. What did you think of Hunter's performance? And what is he in the NFL, Rick? Is he a wide receiver or is he a DB?
Oh, well, listen, I look at all that beautiful Michigan memorabilia hanging over your shoulder. And
you can't help but think of Charles Woodson, right?
I mean, is that not like when you were in the third quarter, if you were watching, well, you weren't at that game. I was watching the game, and then we were in the third quarter, and I think the broadcast guy, they said, Travis Hunter has played every single snap of the game. I was like, whoa, are you kidding me? I mean, and if you do that week in and week out, you're going to be in the mix. That's impressive. And I'll tell you what, Deion Sanders did it a little bit when he was back in the day. Charles Woodson did it. We've seen, Hines Ward has played multiple positions. I think he was in the Heisman running one year. It's remarkable. And I'll tell you what, the kid from USC, I think, had the catch of the week. But Travis Hunter had – Travis
that's
Hunter,
the best catch I've ever seen in person because I was at that game. I was at the LSU. I got to tell
that
you,
was more amazing than the Odell Beckham Jr. catch, I think. I mean, what an incredible catch. But Travis Hunter had some incredible catches too. And I'll tell you what, that Shedeur Sanders to Travis Hunter combination is tough to stop. But I do like this young man as a cornerback. I think you can find more value in shutting down wide receivers than being a big play threat. I think his ball instincts and his skills will be more valuable on the offensive side. And to your point, like North Dakota State forgot how to tackle in the third quarter. So like it made Travis Hunter look a lot better. We'll see how he does as he progresses along against the step up in caliber of competition.
Rick Saratella kicking with us on the Twisted Tuesday. And I got to tell you too, because we all think of that Beckham catch and he made the one-handed catch. And Rick just said it might have been tough for Hudson's catch because Hudson had someone all over him. He got hit and was being pass interfered with, still came down there, also made that catch late in the game where he got lit up and he got hit in the head, hung on to the football, showed a lot of poise. This kid, very impressive, but even LSU fans in attendance all applauded the catch and said you got to tip the cap. More with Rick on the other side. Bring it.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. Rick Saratella kicking to us. So listen, we could talk college football all night long with Rick from a scouting perspective, but let me just throw Rick's college football championship predictions. And I said Rick likes to think outside the box, and it's not like you have two teams that aren't heavily hyped, but I haven't seen anybody say that Mississippi's going to beat Texas in the national championship. You're all in on Lane Kiffin's Rebels, bro. You've got Jackson Dart to win the Heisman, and you've got Ole Miss to win the championship.
That's right. The Lane Train. Hop aboard the Lane Train Express, everybody. Jackson Dart, you got a multiple-year starter. You've got transfer portal players coming into an already established program. When you talk about Lane Kiffin, has been there for several years. And you take a look, we talked about it last week, Gabe, but with the college football landscape radically changing, no more Nick Saban, no more Jim Harbaugh. You got coaches moving all over the college football landscape, and there's Lane Kiffin. Nothing but stability. And same with Sark. I got Texas going. Steve Sarkisian, he's got a little bit of a track record for not winning the big game. But again, he's got an established quarterback, multiple-year starter. Arch Manning, I think, is going to have a big role as well. So when you take a look at the head coach quarterback combinations, which we'll talk about with the NFL predictions, I think Ole Miss and Texas are the two most stable programs as of today.
Rick Saratella kicking with us. All right, so let's get to the National Football League. Rick's AFC Championship game prediction. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Houston Texans, and the Baltimore Ravens will beat the Houston Texans. Rick, that's what you like in the AFC.
That's right. I think Baltimore gets off to a big game with a win over Kansas City, by the way. You thought Lamar Jackson was dangerous previously in the RPO offense. Oh, wait till you get a load of Derrick Henry. I mean, that's not something you can practice and prepare for. I think Kansas City is going to have their hands full. Heck, I think the NFL is going to have their hands full. Lamar Jackson's got this chip on his shoulder. I think he wins the second MVP. I like the Ravens to go to the big dance.
So Rick Saratella's got the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans, continue their progress and climb the ladder, make it to the conference championship game, but lose. So the Ravens go to the Super Bowl, NFC conference championship game. You've got two California teams. You got the Los Angeles Rams playing the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Conference Championship, with the Los Angeles Rams getting back to the Super Bowl.
That's right. I think at least three teams from the NFC West are going to make the playoffs. I think this is the toughest division in football for the 2024 calendar year. Arizona, Seattle, both tough outs. That means if you're the Rams and you're the 49ers, week in and week out, you're playing a tough schedule. I think these are the two best teams. And again, Gabe, if you look at the head coach quarterback combination, like Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, it doesn't get much better than that. So I'm going to put my money or my chips on the table with those guys and let them ride, baby.
And I'll tell you what, I like McDonald. I think he's going to do a nice job. It's funny. He doesn't look like he's the youngest guy in the league, the way he acts, right? He's only 37 years old, but an experienced guy, part of the Harbaugh tree, defensive coordinator Michigan, defensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens. I think people are sleeping on Seattle a little bit. I agree with you as far as how competitive this division is going to be, because I think Steichen's a great coach, and I think the Cardinals are going in the right direction as well.
Yeah.
So the Baltimore Ravens play the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Who wins the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Ravens and Rams. I'm going to go with the experience here. I do think Sean McVay is a future Hall of Famer, and I think this will cement his legacy. One more year with Matthew Stafford to get it done. I think the window is small. I think the Rams feel it. They went with that salary cap purgatory for a season. They loaded up. They got Verse. They got Fisk to help replace Donald on the defense. Weapons all over the place. Blake Corum, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford in the saddle. I'm riding heavy on the Rams.
Man, I love it. Rick's all in on the Rams, and he's all in on the Ole Miss Rebels as well. So let me ask you, you just said you think Baltimore, and I tend to agree with you. And for the record, Derrick Henry has the highest yards per game average against the Kansas City Chiefs that he does against any other team in the National Football League. He averages 122 yards a game. A lot of people sort of act like Derrick Henry's done. I think people are going to find out on Thursday he's not. And Baltimore already had the most potent rushing attack, and now they just add Derrick Henry to this. So you think Baltimore start off the season with a big win against the Chiefs. What about that big Sunday nighter, the playoff rematch with the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions?
Ooh, that's going to be a blow-for-blow, 12-round heavyweight championship fight. This might be the NFC championship, right? And, I'll tell you what, where's that game being played, Gabe?
In Motown.
In Motown. that's going to be a tough out. I remember last week in week 1 or the first home game, the Lions, I think they played the Eagles. It was deafening in there. I think it was week 1. That's going to be a hell of a
last year in week 1.
Yeah,
well, I was going to say to start the year, last year on the road.
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs, and then they came home, and I think they played the Eagles very well. That's going to be a tough atmosphere, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win out of the gate week 1. But I'll throw the Lions. I didn't have them in the NFC Championship, but they're the next team right there outside of the Rams and the 49ers. I think the Lions are right there in the mix. So I'm going to go Lions week 1, but I'm going to go Rams on February the 9th.
All right. So, Rick, we've only got about a minute left here. You're in, Rick, of course, allaccessfootball.com, founder of the NFL Draft, Bible Scout with the Edmonton Elks. But you're on the Jersey Shore, New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings at MetLife Stadium. Sam Darnold returns to MetLife. Vikings, Giants, week 1. Who you got?
I got the Giants week 1. There's not many winnable games on this schedule. Sam Darnold, he's known to see some ghosts before in MetLife Stadium. I think he gets haunted. The Giants defense, when you talk about Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns, I think that's going to give Sam Darnold a lot of fits. So it's not going to be a high-scoring affair, but I think the Giants do just enough to get the W.
Yeah, it's a winnable game for both teams. That's why it's basically a pick 'em. It's one of those games that it's one of those games that they both better win, actually, to get the year started. If they don't, it's one of the winnable games for each of them on their schedule. Rick Saratella, always a pleasure, Rick. Thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us. The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is SportsRage. Bring it.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The leftover language would be the million shy of what Jefferson makes Jefferson a better player. If you want to believe that, I'm not sure I buy that he's that much better than CeeDee Lamb.
Tony Pollard's gone. He's now with the Titans. I was with the Titans a couple weeks ago. He'll be their starting running back there. They're going a different direction in Dallas, but it's all about CeeDee Lamb right now, the first of the other deals that they have to get done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Thanks to Rick Saratella for kicking it with us. Bold Super Bowl prediction. The Los Angeles Rams win the Super Bowl again. Rick Saratella says over the Baltimore Ravens, which would be an intriguing game. So I like that Rick likes to think outside the box, and he's got Mississippi beating the Texas Longhorns in an all-SEC national championship game as well. So it's countdown to kickoff. Tomorrow night we'll have a ton of picks for you for the Thursday nighter. But here's a future bet that I like a lot. And listen, player props are always risky. Obviously they can get injured and you're done. But you know what? This is such a low number, actually. I think we can get there pretty quickly with this bet. Not only do I think this bet is going to win, I think it'll win relatively quickly. And dare I say, I think we can win this bet in the first month of the season. And I'm talking about rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, we know LSU wide receivers are explosive as hell, and most of them have been pretty much superstars in the National Football League. So the New York Giants got Malik Neighbors, but because of Malik Neighbors, people didn't talk about Brian Thomas Jr. His reception touchdown prop, so he has to catch them, so it doesn't count if he runs it in. He's got to catch them. Is 4.5. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be the best player on the Jaguars this year. Like by midseason, it'll be like, oh, yeah, he's the best. Like he's better than Christian Kirk's good, but he gets hurt. Kirk's good, not great. Gabriel Davis is great like once a month and then disappears for 3 weeks at a time. Evan Engram's been good with the Jags. So he's got to battle a little bit for targets, but the fact of the matter is he's going to be so wide open all the time. He runs like a 4.3. He's 6'3". He's big and he's fast. He had like nearly 1,200 yards last year and 17 touchdown catches from Jaden Daniels. And one thing last year, guys, even when Malik Neighbors on the team, Thomas led for like 20-yard and 30-yard receptions. This guy's a deep field threat. He gets open. He can go over the middle of the field. He's tough. I'm telling you, Thomas is going to kill it. All right. I mean, Caleb Williams is probably going to win Rookie of the Year, but Brian Thomas Jr. is going to kill it, guys. Over 4.5 receiving touchdowns for Brian Thomas Jr. And for the record, I like him over 750.5 receiving yards as well, but you don't want to go too crazy on one player with props, but I like Brian Thomas a lot. And in fact, I was in a fantasy draft last week, and I was about to take him, and someone took him the pick before me, and I was genuinely mad for real. And another player that got taken in a draft I was going to take was Dalton Kincaid. We'll get into Kincaid tomorrow, but I like Kincaid on the Buffalo Bills to be like the main guy in the passing attack, right? Samuel gets hurt all the time. Keon Coleman's a rookie, so he'll be good, but there'll be battles. He'll have his ups and downs. But I think Kincaid showed as the year went on in this new Joe Brady offense that James Cook is going to be a massive part of this. The Bills are going to run the football more, and they're just going to throw to the tight end because they have a bunch of wide receivers that sort of like the Chiefs, right? Throwing to Kelsey. All right, before we get out of here, Cam, we've got big women's tennis coming up tomorrow. Pegula knocking on a door, doing something special here. She's close, but she's not there yet. Quarterfinal matches. Swiatek and Pegula. Swiatek is a minus 400 favorite, and Muchova is a minus 225 favorite over Haddad Maya. Who do you like in the women's tennis, camp?
I like the way Pegula's playing, Gabe. By the way, I love that Thomas pick as well. I think he's going to be amazing. But Pegula, I might take on the spreads. She's just not good enough. Swiatek is too good. She's minus 450. But I'm going to tell you, Hadid Maya, I've been watching this girl, and she's getting better all the time. Even though Muchova's playing well, I see a dangerous dog at plus 160. So Hadid Maya is a very, very good player, Gabe. And I know Muchova's minus 215. I think we could have a live dog there. Pegula's close, but Swiatek should win. But I expect Pegula to battle. She's actually turned it up a notch and started to win events. She's been great.
A little bit of an American resurgence in tennis right now with Fritz finally making it to his first U.S. Open semifinal and breaking through. For the record right now, Sabalenka is a minus 120 favorite to win it all. And I know I'm not going out on a limb. It's not flashy, but I actually think she is going to win. She's so determined, this woman, all the time. Like, she's just locked in, and she's so physically strong as well. I think this court suits her game. Sabalenka minus 120 to win the U.S. Open. Other than that, you're on your own.